Hey.
I forgot to grab a drink.
Oh, you should grab one now. I'll just hold down the 4 to talk bad about you. Everyone can sort of laugh at my monitor holder right here. It says Risk on it. That's sad. I didn't realize that would be captured on the screen so nicely.
Risk. It's like my Risk.
That's well, because I moved
holding up the monitor.
I moved my original monitor stand here to the bigger monitor, but I don't have a monitor stand for that one anymore. So I need to.
Good job. I didn't even know you had a second monitor already.
Yeah, I've got 2 monitors, but whatever. My hard drive doesn't work, so it doesn't run 2 monitors. Not a hard drive. The connector doesn't work, so I can't run 2 monitors off this connector. So
that's so weird.
But this was for my work. See, work, monitor, work, monitor.
Yeah, I have the same. These two.
Yeah. It's sad. The future is now, and then I play, and then I work, and then I work, and then I play.
I get it. I was just talking to the wife earlier. I'm like, the biggest problem I'm having with my office right now is that like division of like work, project, and play, and so like I'm having to shove it all into one room, and I've got to find a way to segregate it, like be able to unpack work and pack it up and put it like tuck it away so that it's not strewn everywhere. I just feel like.
So why? What do you just have like a folder and some laptop? What? You just got a lot of stuff for it?
My work one's my laptop, right? So it goes into a docking station right here. But then at the same time, I gotta have 2, and it's I've got a headset. You know how it works, headset and all that kind of
stuff. I have a laptop and a monitor. Right.
I have to have 2. If I don't have 2, it would drive me crazy.
It's 1.
Yeah.
2.
No, I have the laptop open.
2.
I'm too old. I'm getting too old for it. Like
I know. I have to do this.
Yeah, no. That's why.
What does that say? I mean,
a 27-inch and a 24-inch monitor right next to each
other. All right,
other.
dude. We're not measuring e-peens here. Roll the credits.
Let's go. Let's roll the credits. Let's get this going. Welcome, everybody.
All right, we're back. What do you have on the phone there?
Someone's asking me a question about the show. I was like,
"What's up, Rolls? Thanks for jumping on." Joe's running help desk here.
Yeah,
what's up, Tim? Thanks for jumping on. It's gonna be a week. Gonna be a show.
Episode 125. Welcome to Mid-Geek Crisis. I'm sorry about that. People asking questions and whatnot. So like.
Is it like what you're wearing kind of questions, or is it a?
Of course, I've got a. I got to.
You got the fan clubs.
Got my OnlyFans, man. I got to run that. Gotta say, it's 2020, 2021. These 2 years have been like everyone's got an OnlyFans, right? Isn't that? I mean, audience.
Do we talk about that openly? Yeah, I guess everyone does have an OnlyFans.
Yeah, there's the only way to fill in the income, right? That's what I call the stimulus package.
Wow. Wow. Can we roll the credits again and start the show over, please?
Oh, man, that's just
we'll be taking interviews for our hosts for the rest of this. Yeah, later on. Thanks, Rolls. Thank you.
It doesn't get better than that, folks. It really doesn't get better than that. Like I peaked right there. That was it. Literally.
Joe is in a strange mood, and I am sick. I have an OnlyFans for strange stretch mark fetishes. Yeah, there's a lot of competition in that realm on this particular channel. We
don't kink shame on the Mid-Geek Crisis here, folks.
No, I was just saying, watch out for competition.
Different strokes for different folks, and that's totally okay.
Boo.
Again, welcome everyone.
Boo this man.
Hey, it's Tuesday night. I always enjoy everyone coming on. And it is episode 125. 125 episodes of this. This feels kind of milestone-y, but every episode feels like a milestone, right? Like
every episode we're still around is an episode we should celebrate.
Another episode to celebrate.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. So here we go. Let's
What's up, Dan? Thanks for jumping on.
What's going on, Dan? Let's kick it off right, and I'll just jump in right into one of the big stories, right? And when I say big, I mean just in general the idea that it's 20 years. It's been 20 years since Xbox.
Oh yes,
let's start with that.
What a pump fake! Everyone's ready.
So,
Look, yeah.
Xbox
20 years
ahead
Xbox, very exciting. 20 years of Xbox make me feel very old, but also very exciting.
Like I feel like it's.
I didn't actually have the first Xbox. I did PlayStation. I was a PlayStation.
You were a
PlayStation
PlayStation guy. I remember you telling me that. But what I've enjoyed about the I'm gonna share that in a second. I want to share the video they put up.
Oh, we're gonna put a hype video.
They put up a minute long, like kind of like a 20-year hype video.
Has it been 20 years since that particular advertising campaign was on?
I think it's been a little longer.
A little longer, right? Like Dan's dating himself there. What's up?
Yeah, man. No, 20 years, man. What's interesting is Microsoft still feels like the new kid on the block when it comes right down to it, and that's only because of the nature of Sony and Nintendo being like the old Japanese companies, right? But since Microsoft has come in, we've lost like Sega, so Sega's no longer like Sega immediately. The original Xbox kind of was it's known within the Dreamcast circle as the Dreamcast 2 in a way, only because Microsoft helped so much with the Dreamcast with the it ran a version of Windows CE as an embedded system for certain games. There was just a lot of the technology that was running on the Dreamcast had a lot to do with Sega in general. And then when the original Xbox came out, Sega used the original Xbox hardware as their arcade hardware. So what is it? Time Crisis 3. Sounds like
Sega put themselves out of business.
They did, but they partnered themselves with Microsoft for a very good reason, for lots of good. They have like 3 or 4. House of the Dead 3, Outrun 2006. There's another one. There's like 3 or 4 arcade games, big arcade machines that you went and played. Like again, Time Crisis 3, the gun game that's running on. I think it's called the Leanfinger. I think is the name of the system. It's a big German word, and that board is essentially a Xbox with more memory. That's all it is. Oh,
that's all it is.
And at the same time, we had a.
You mean they use a PC? Is what Dan's saying? Yes, there's some Windows architecture, but everything was Windows architecture back then, right?
Yeah. Sega used the Xbox, which then ran DirectX, which is, we could call it a PC.
Oh my God, DirectX! Oh God.
Yeah.
Well, DirectX was, 2001 DirectX. No, please.
We wouldn't have
PTSD
Xbox,
from having to update that all the time.
Yeah. So there's been some. Microsoft is still kind of relatively the new kid on the block, and here on this show we've become big fans of them because of like Game Pass and all that kind of stuff. But honestly, they're also the underdog, right? In a way. I mean, I don't care. We talk about this. I know. Okay. We talk about this on the show that we don't side with companies. Huh?
Yeah, exactly. Underdog honestly, in what way, right?
I mean, they're underdog within the 3 big within the gaming scheme, but they're not at the same time because it's Microsoft, right? Like they're like this giant global entity that is on everyone's computer anyway.
You know who's the underdog in this? Google Stadia. Google Stadia is the underdog. They're this scrappy newcomer coming in
and doing what? What are they doing? What are they doing? I'm not even gonna give them credit. Fact check.
Yes.
What's up was 1999. Look at that.
There you go. 1999. Yes. There you go. So definitely before the 20th and Xbox came out, right? Definitely before.
That's what we were talking about before the show. So Xbox is before times, right? The before
Xbox
times?
Came out in the before times, right? So the before
times.
What
the before times are?
So in my mind, there's pre-COVID, obviously that's before times. The before times predates 9/11, right? And if you want to go even further back, what's before 9/11? I would say maybe for me, like the Challenger explosion, right? So like there's like moments in time for me that I remember distinctly. The wall coming down, the Berlin Wall coming down, the Challenger explosion. That. Those are the 4 like major.
I remember watching MTV when that happened.
But the world changed. The world changed dramatically after 2001.
Yeah, it was a big shift. So 2001, after the attacks, the global security kind of like changed the way
we talk to each other changed. And then when did the Apple phone come out? When did Facebook appear on the Apple phone? Right. So like
so the iPhone in 2008. So that's a big global change, of course, in a different way.
I don't think it was a big global change until they added apps, right? So like
the App Store was a year and a half later afterwards, and then that's when we started getting,
because the original iPhone just played music, or it was a music. It was an iPod that made calls.
It was an internet communicator.
Yeah, it was an.
a music player. Yeah,
it wasn't until they added all
that was
apps.
the famous line, right? He goes, we're introducing 4 things: a music player, an internet device, and then it's like, but it's one. Here's the iPhone, and it's like,
Hard to believe how crappy the original iPhone was.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So John, totally right. Columbine is definitely one. Was that 99?
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, John, excellent. Yeah, that's a great one. Columbine was definitely one of those big and that's a big dramatic change with even video games, right? A good example was this for the original Dreamcast. House of the Dead 2, as a perfect example, is House of the Dead 2 was a game that was already out, but when it was home ported, because of Columbine, Sega was like, "Yo, we're not going to release a light gun with our name on it." So they region patched the game in the U.S. So
you get to play with the controller.
Well, no. So they were like, someone else can release a light gun. So they allowed Mad Catz to release their light gun, but the original Sega gun, the one in Japan that works on the Japanese version of House of the Dead 2 does not work. If you plug it into an American Dreamcast, it'll work on other games. But House of the Dead 2, it will not work. It'll literally say this is region locked out.
What a weird corporate decision.
It's such a weird decision. Like,
But I think John's right. Coming over from YouTube, thanks for joining us, John. Yeah, he's right. Like, that's definitely a moment for a lot of people. It changed their world as well, Columbine, right? And we're still seeing the effects of that sort of shooter thing going on, right? We have shooter drills leading all the way out from Columbine to now.
Yeah, until now. I mean, we have
Y2K, all right. So going back 21 years at this point, Y2K.
But can we call that a global event, or can we call that more of a hype event, right? Like, at this point, it was one of those scenarios where everyone was like, "Oh, we were preparing for the worst." I mean, my mother-in-law, for a gag Christmas gift, gave me a Y2K snow globe.
Oh my god!
I have it. It's on one of my shelves, but it's just a snow globe with a computer, and it says Y2K, and it's like. Oh,
I think we all just took a lot of money out of our bank and just sat on it for a week and then deposited it like 7 days after. Like, we really.
I'm sure banks were like, "What?" And for the global economy doing that. Yeah.
That's interesting. Like, Y2K.
Do you remember the Best Buy stickers that were on everything? This computer's
Y2K compliant. Yep, yeah. I do remember that. Yeah. How weird would Y2K be now? Like, imagine how people would react if they thought their computers and iPhones would not function because of a Y2K bug. Wouldn't it be hilarious
if there's like a Y221, Y2K21 or something like that, something like a weird date. Like, obviously we know we can estimate when these things happen computer-wise, but we know a specific date that broke things. I remember there was one date that broke the iPhone. Like, all the alarms went off at one point.
I don't even know what that is.
To the software, I remember that.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, that was early on in the iPhone life. Sure.
So anyway, we were talking about the Xbox anniversary. As old men are wont to do, we have meandered
but it's just 20
through
years.
the woods of 20 years of history.
So you said you weren't an Xbox guy. Your first Xbox was the 360, right?
My first Xbox was the 360, correct. And I think it was like second gen 360 or whatever, the one that came out after.
I had an Xbox.
When that big out. Black VCR looking machine.
Freaking awesome. I love them to death. I have them still.
To really murder someone with it.
They were just so different, and that's why I keep saying, like, Xbox is just it's still considered the newcomer, because even then they were like, everyone was trying to go to the smaller, sleeker design, and here's Xbox.
They were like, we're going to give you a desktop on its side.
They were like, yo, we're going to dump a Pentium 3 733, an NVIDIA graphics card, and a hard drive. I mean, look, that's so funny. Here's the hard drive to an Xbox.
The Duke. That's right.
Oh, and their controllers, the Duke, right? So the original controller was just like the bear on your lap, just sitting there, just like giant buttons. I'm like, it's so ridiculous. I mean, but then they learned. He hit it. He hit it because
So Dan, please refrain from using camps. No, 5 because there's a capital T.
That's right. That did it. There we go.
Dan, the bot is very specific. 5 capitals.
5
Your limit
total.
is 4 per post.
4 per post.
Thanks for jumping on, Dan. Stay on the fence is a ban.
No, so 20 years of the Xbox, and I did not play Xbox Live on the original Xbox.
No,
I didn't get a chance to. It was kind of new. I didn't have broadband at the time yet.
Oh gosh, because you had to plug it in. It probably wasn't a wireless.
There was no modem, right?
I remember that my 360. I had to buy the wireless adapter to slap on the side.
Yeah, you bought the wireless adapter eventually. So, but it was a hard wire, and I didn't have broadband at the time. But I do remember going to a friend's house and playing Halo, and that was like the idea of like a LAN party with a console. It was like, wait, you mean I don't have to take my giant tower with me to play a shooter. Oh my god! And everyone was started LAN partying with, and I distinctly remember. I mean, I was heading to college at the time, but I didn't go. But I had friends that like they would have like LAN parties in their dorms, and they'd like send me.
Yeah, we had quite a few.
So
we did mainly PC, right? But yeah, definitely.
Right, but I mean, the idea was like they were still carting around a giant CRT to room because it was the time before it was.
Or we ran cable and people would trip over them.
Yeah.
That was always a good
giant CRT TVs, 4 of them in a room where it gets about 300 degrees, and everyone's like.
We all played Marathon, the first-person shooter on the Apple. Do you remember that one? It was
man.
10,000 years ago. I know. That's because I was in college between 95 and 99. So that was my Marathon, and StarCraft were my experiences for multiplayer games. Anyway, Xbox, yes. So
yes, I wanted to play this.
Let's play the memories. Bring it on.
I'm gonna play with audio, and it'll obviously echo. So.
See, there we go. Yeah, started the first Storm network. Nice, Dan. Nice.
American company too.
At Xbox, our passion is to help you find and play the games that you love.
I love the art form of video games. I think we tell stories that bring people together, whether it's competing or whether it's cooperative. This is just what gaming should be about.
That's fun.
So it's a fun anniversary. 20th anniversary is always their motto. Jump in right now has been their tagline for this 20th anniversary. What's interesting about that like sizzle reel of Xbox in general is just that you can really feel the difference between a company like Nintendo and Sony and Xbox with seeing that. Like the franchises are very American, very like Gears of War,
Halo, Gears, driving cars and building stuff.
Yeah, building stuff. Like it's just very different. And like if this had been like a Sony sizzle reel, you would have seen like Final Fantasy, all the RPGs, the JRPGs. They're
those are all the Xbox now anyway.
I mean, a lot of them have moved over, but I'm just saying, like in general, they've really focused. Like that's their identity because it's a Japanese company. And Nintendo would have been like all of their mascots, Mario, Zelda, all that kind of stuff. So. It's interesting. I still feel like even though Halo is the face of Microsoft, or at least Xbox, he still feels very disconnected as being like the mascot for. When
was the last time we've seen any Master Chief guy out there? Right?
Right. He isn't.
Wait a minute. Was Halo the reason behind Bill Gates' divorce? Maybe. Never know.
We never
delivering
know.
the Master Chief.
I think someone invaded someone else's ring is what happened.
Wow, boo, Joe delivering terrible lines all day long. Awful.
The puns, sir, the puns. No, I don't know.
Terrible dad jokes all day long. I love it.
I'm a fan, and again, I've said it again. They're an underdog without being an underdog. They are the smaller gamer company with still being one of the biggest budgets, right? Like who dumps a couple billion?
Dude, none of these game companies are small, man.
I know. I mean, that's what's weird.
This is a narrative that we have built in our heads,
right? But
so that we could justify 3 companies. These are 3 massive gaming monopolies going against each other. There is nothing small about any of them.
No, you're right.
Right, so maybe
the presence is different, right? Like Sony is such a big international company. Microsoft,
sure, I get what you're saying, man. Nintendo's huge, but they're all international, massive, worldwide entities.
They're right, but in the conversation between, if you talk to any gaming journalists in general, I mean, they know Microsoft and Xbox in general have a very tough time breaking into certain international markets. They're just not popular everywhere else. So, like when you look at popularity, Xbox is very American, but so is PlayStation. But then you go to certain countries. I think Mexico has gotten really big with Xbox as of late. But then you go over to Europe and it's like, and then you go to any of the Asian,
it's all PlayStation all day long.
It's all PlayStation, Nintendo. So like when you're talking about like when you break it down to populace, they are really the smaller installer base.
Yeah, so like Nintendo has less than 6,000 employees.
Right.
Microsoft has 166,000.
Yeah, are we?
I find that really Nintendo's that small.
Yeah. They're a really small company. Like, they are technically the company that I'm describing, right? The really small company, but they're so global. Like, everyone knows the face of Mario. Everyone has, the
Nintendo has less than 6,000 employees, but 4,000 of them are lawyers, right? That's why
probably.
That's why they're so good
at pulling down IPs, and they're all just sitting there scouring the internet.
Typing letters all day long. Cease and desist.
So happy 20th Xbox.
Happy 20th Xbox.
To 20 more. Hopefully bring us some good games this year. Hopefully they kind of...
And bring back the one game of the year that we're all clamoring for. What game is that, Joe? What game are we clamoring for right now?
What game is...
This year especially, of all years...
20 years
Why is this not backwards compatible?
It is not backwards compatible.
It's a Shrek game. What is going on here?
So I love that Xbox totally like put this out there as a tweet today. They were like, oh, the years start coming, and making the Smash.
And they don't stop coming. Yes.
Yep. Also, can we talk about the all new environment plus new characters designed by Todd McFarlane?
Did he have like a free couple hours to design nightmarish characters?
He was like, I'm gonna work on Spawn and Shrek. That's what I'm doing this year.
Was Spawn? Was he working on Spawn in 2000? I mean, he worked on Spawn a long time and a lot, right?
Late 90s, early aughts, and it's all about Spawn.
I feel like I'm going to date myself now, but his Spider-Man web is so evocative. I can't.
The web of Spider-Man. Yeah,
the web, just the web design with the swirl around and all that stuff.
Yeah, the swirl around it.
Was Todd McFarlane involved in the Shrek movies? I don't know, but he was involved in the game.
He was not, but apparently he was involved in the TDK made game. That's so weird.
I'm wondering, like, what's the Venn diagram? Fans of Shrek, fans of Todd McFarlane. Like, does it just touch? Does it overlap? Yeah, is there like
so maybe it has to do like here we go. Shrek, Todd McFarlane, Swamp Spawn. It's just like what? Is that what it is? What? Spawn, swamp, what? Frogs, swamps?
I mean, from the video game alone, I would think there was scary Todd McFarlane style characters in the movie, right?
Right.
I was telling Joe before the show that I actually have not seen Shrek. I am out of the loop on any of the Shrek films.
Can we talk about this? So yes, it is the 20th anniversary of Shrek.
Yes, it's the 20th. The three new characters: Humpty Dumpty as a half-cracked egg, the dastardly dungeon keeper, and the cold and calculating ice cream queen's ice cream. Wait, is this for real, Dan? You went and looked it up?
Oh, nice. Dan, pull it out, producing for us. Look at that.
That's awesome.
That's weird. So I guess he created 3 new fairy tale characters: Humpty Dumpty as a half-cracked egg, the dastardly dungeon keeper, and the cold and calculated ice cream queens.
Ice cream queens, ice cream.
Interesting. Huh.
Yeah, way to go, Todd.
Well, whatever, man. I guess
they had to fatten up that game with 3 levels that you're like, this wasn't in the movie. What is this trash?
Yeah, that's goals. I gave him the same crap, man. I was like, wait a minute, he's got kids. Like, why haven't you? So now his mission is to watch Shrek with his kiddo. Like, how amazing is that? I wish I could like sit down and watch Shrek for the first time. It was that good.
I doubt it,
dude. Shrek is fantastic. Help me out, audience.
Is it Michael Myers as the voice of Shrek?
Yes.
I doubt it.
Yeah, dude, Shrek is phenomenal. Yes. I mean, come on, man. It's Shrek.
Does he have a flushing toilet in his outhouse? I doubt.
No, he does not.
Watch the movie again, Joe.
No, he does not.
There was someone who wrote a review of Shrek 20
outhouse
with the flushing toilet, so they could add the flushing noise.
Yeah, well, I mean, okay. Is that a bad thing? I mean, I'm confused.
It sets the bar, right? We are toilet humor.
Oh, come on! It's the first 5 minutes of the. I think
Shrek is amazing. It's so good. It's almost not for kids. Is often what I hear about it.
That's definitely. I mean, it's one of those movies where it's borderline, right? Like all the jokes are just at the age of inappropriateness, where they're like, your kids are gonna laugh, your parents are gonna cringe and laugh because they're laughing for other reasons, right?
Right. Yeah.
That's
which was a lot of the movies I watched with my dad growing up. Come to think of it,
right? So like Shrek, that's why
sitting back there not getting any of the jokes.
Shrek was the anti fairy tale, right? It was the fairy tale movie that took place outside of like Shrek is very aware of the fairy tales, right? Like he's reading a fairy tale book at the beginning of the movie, and then he rips a page out and uses it as toilet paper because he's like,
right. The fairy tale ending's so crappy that he has to wipe his butt with it.
Right. So he's like, this is like he's the ogre. Like
I said, everyone out there who's like, you've never seen Shrek. I've seen Shrek without ever having seen Shrek because it's been talked about. Reference.
I've told you, everyone knows the references and the memes, and of course that's without saying it. Shrek memes in general have always been the thing, right? Like, can we talk about the memes here? Like, for 20 years, though, it's interesting. There's a resurgence. Like, my wife was telling me at dinner, we were talking about the show, and she was like, it's funny that it's 20 years. My kids in my class all love Shrek. Like, they all talk about it, but they're all like
12,
10 and 12.
Right? Yeah.
So, but it's just because it's never really lost because of memes. It's always kept. Shrek has always been kept. It's like SpongeBob. SpongeBob is from the late 90s, early aughts, but yet everyone still talks about SpongeBob.
So I feel like there's a new SpongeBob movie every 3 years, and I'm like, who is this?
Nickelodeon knows how to keep.
We got to keep this
Disney. It's their character. It's their Mickey Mouse, man. Like they gotta keep pumping it out.
Timeless Matrix parody scene. So that's in Shrek, a Matrix parody scene?
The very first Shrek. And again, we can't call it an old reference because the movie came out 20 years ago and The Matrix came out in 1999.
Yeah. Yep.
So it's like it's only a year and a half. When they
same time as the What's Up ads, right? Is that
What's that? Oh God. Oh man, it's interesting. Like it spawned what? There are
launch movie.
So there's 4 Shrek movies, right? Shrek 1, Shrek 2, Shrek 4, I can't even remember. I think there's 3 or 4 of them. Man, I can't remember. I think there's 4. I'm going to say 4, but I might be wrong. It might be 3. But I know that there's there's 2 spin-offs, right? So there's a Puss in Boots movie. Yeah, there's 4. Now, what Dan says 4, Roll says 3 and a spin-off. I thought I remember it was 4 and then a spin-off. Maybe I'm wrong. It's a 4th? Oh, look, John's like 4. There's 4. See, there we go. So, yeah, there are 4 Shrek movies. Shrek Forever After. There we go. So, yeah,
Forever. Yes, thank you, John. Appreciate it. Am I back? Am I slow? What is happening here? I feel like my connection runs down sometimes.
Yeah, you got a little laggy there.
Yeah, right. But I'm plugged in. What the hell? It's not all right. I'm gonna call Verizon tomorrow.
Yeah, we got fiber.
Yeah, Shrek Forever After, and Puss in Boots had 2. It wasn't Puss in Boots from Shrek.
Yeah, well, Puss in Boots, and then there was a Puss in Boots Netflix series, and
that's right.
And then also Shrek has had like a couple of Christmas specials and Halloween specials, and DreamWorks
almost really, like a Lego institution. They've got so many movies.
Shrek is long enough. I mean, Mike Myers has got to be.
Or Ice Age. Ice Age has had like 10,000 movies as well, right? Ice Age, they're up to like number 8.
Yeah,
the Ice Age has lasted forever in their world.
I mean, here's another one.
Wow, there was a Shrek musical?
There was. Absolutely. I was just like, cursed images right here. That's a cursed image right there, sir. Look at that. This is just, what is going on there?
I bet he does well in OnlyFans, though. He does really well on the OnlyFans.
Right? Dan, I would be okay with this. Only because the Shrek movies in general, as they're pop culturally, but at the same time they're fun. They border that genre where they're just fun enough for kids and enough for adults that both of them. And I think at this point, bringing it back would bring those adults back, like the adults that watched it as kids 20 years ago would be able to like watch it and go, oh, now they get to watch it with their kids, experience a new Shrek movie with their kids. I don't know. I feel like it would be a good time to bring out a Shrek movie. It was so good that it froze Cautious. Look at this. Froze him. Look, I'm gonna put him full screen now just to show. Look at that face. He knows what's up. He knows. There you are.
Is it just me now?
No. It's me. I'm here.
Okay. Hey, I don't know.
You were frozen. You were frozen on the screen.
Oh, okay. And folks could talk to you because you were frozen on my screen as well.
I put you on full screen because you were like.
Oh, nice.
Which I haven't bothered with.
Guess I'm having technical difficulties today. I don't know what's happening.
A buddy of mine, he put up a trivia question. He was like, "Hey, who was the original voice?" And I was like, "Chris Farley was." I don't know, man. Like, I don't know if it would have been as popular. I mean, I know Chris Farley.
Chris Farley was the original voice of Shrek?
Yeah, so he recorded a big chunk of the movie, and then he passed away. And then they brought in Mike Myers, and Mike Myers did he wasn't even supposed to have like the Scottish accent, my swamp, he was that accent was like added after
that's all Mike Myers knows how to do.
All well, right. So he came in to fill in after. Yeah,
Shrek was originally a teenager. Oh, there's like a oral history of the Shrek.
Yeah, it's actually got a really interesting story. Because remember, this was DreamWorks Animation. I mean, this was post like Pixar, right? But it was also like, hey, here's us as an animation studio. We can do this, and it was a big ordeal. Like it was like a big production for them. Getting this animation studio to counter Disney, to kind of go against the Disney. With the
two Disney juggernauts, right? Yeah.
Right. So DreamWorks came out swinging with Shrek, and they had no idea the popularity it was going to have. There's a great the documentary on the original DVD. They just re-released it on 4K. I'm excited to take a look at that. There's a 20th anniversary special on there. I'm going to take a look at. So, but yeah, right. So but Ants was very good. Like when it comes down to like animation, Prince of Egypt.
I feel like Ants was like a rip off of Bug's Life, right? It looked like a rip off of Bug's Life. I know it was a different movie, but it looked like a rip off.
It came out right around the same time.
It was like The Wish. It was like the Wish.com version of it.
3D, yeah, that's one of the first 3D ones. Prince of Egypt, Road to El Dorado, Chicken Run was
great.
Claymation.
Was that DreamWorks as well? I didn't realize that.
Yeah, Prince of Egypt has some of the best animation to date still, I think, when it comes down to like just 2D animation. They still use computers, but it was 2D style. Ants was probably their first like 3D, not claymation, and then Shrek came out. But Shrek was definitely a bigger behemoth than Ants was for sure. I don't know.
Actually, Shrek was bigger than all of them. Prince of Egypt, Road to El Dorado was bigger than all of them. Yeah,
definitely bigger than all of them for sure. So yeah,
I think I've only seen Chicken Run on that list there, and Ants. Maybe I've seen Ants.
You've never seen Road to El Dorado?
No.
Oh, God. That's a great movie. That's a great buddy movie.
I know. I've seen the memes.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a great movie. Oh my God. So speaking of nostalgia all around in 3D animation, we got this dropping today. So apparently Disney's going to, of course, keep everything milked. And that is including Monsters, Inc. So they announced it in 2019. And so this is their first trailer or sneak peek to their TV spinoff, Monsters at Work, which is, whatever.
There's 9 eyes. There's like so many eyes. It's creepy. It's Monsters at Work, so it's great. Let's play it. Roll it.
Yeah, let's play it. Let's go for it.
Let's see how quickly Disney gets us.
They're putting you two in charge.
You're kidding.
It's laughter we're after.
You're no longer hiring scarers?
Scarers are out. Jokesters are in. Report to MIFT.
What exactly is MIFT?
Now you've done it. The Monsters, Inc. facilities team.
MIFT.
If a machine needs maintenance, we maintain it. Now.
Nobody saw nothing. Well, nobody saw nothing.
It's gonna be like The Office, like there's a lot of inner office jokes meant for the adults and the parents, but the kids.
Sure. Is it a series or is it
it's gonna be
a series? All right.
Yeah.
I never saw Monsters. I never saw Monsters U either. I only saw Monsters Inc.
I saw
recently.
Monsters once with my kids, and it was good. It was fine. It was perfectly good movie. Perfectly good movie. So it explains why they work at the. It's a prequel, right? So they go to college and they get kicked out of college. That's what happens. So spoiler alert. So then they go and work in a blue collar place like the Monsters Inc., the power company, right? So there's like Barney Rubble and Fred Flintstone, right? Isn't that what Monsters Inc. is kind of a parody?
I'm sorry, I just got here. We already asked Joe if his mic is plugged in. Yeah, he's talking. What? I hope people can hear him because they've been replying to him all night long, Joe. Yeah, go astronaut, go.
Hello? Okay, yes. Can you hear me? I am here. Hello? Nobody? Okay. No,
that's amazing. I've just been talking the whole time. And
it's been you and everyone else? It's low. What?
Whoa.
Nobody
all right,
said
let's
something.
Give it a whirl.
Come on, audience.
I hear you loud and clear.
I'm going to move my mic closer.
Nice. Put it on the screen.
Testing,
get the
1,
promo.
2, 3.
Nice.
How you doing?
Good radio voice. Good radio voice.
All right.
Thank you. Go astronaut, go. I just assume cautious. I am loud. I am extremely loud.
Fair enough. I am now louder, hopefully, right? Yes, no, maybe so.
Yeah. You certainly sound louder to me. I had to lower my mic down.
All right, so let's talk about let's go further back. We must go deeper. We must go 40 years into the past.
40 years? What's celebrating a 40-year anniversary?
Nothing, but we're going to go 80s heroes into Call of Duty Warzone. We now have John Rambo and Nakatomi Plaza.
80s action heroes. In the capital of war, where there are no limits. Only action. Some heroes die hard.
Serious right now?
Others draw first blood.
I'm coming to get you.
This summer, tighten your headband. Don't forget your shoes.
When you get Optimus Prime to do the voice thing, he's important.
And scream, yippee-ki-yay! Call of Duty is #1. With a mullet, business in the front, badass all around. You're welcome.
Bravo. Call of Duty.
What year is it? I don't understand.
At this point, I am not a Call of Duty fan at all. It is definitely one of those nickel and dime series. It's the Madden of shooters. I mean,
but yeah, I agree, Dan. It's pretty freaking awesome. I'm sitting here thinking to myself,
they knew
every game have a Nakatomi Plaza level. Like, it doesn't matter. Every
game should have a Nakatomi Plaza. Will it be on Stadia? Ooh, the years of dads having all the money. Yeah, no,
that's exactly right. You're totally right. Years, actually, of dads having all the money. They're just going to mine that nostalgia factor all day, every day, over and over and over again. But it looked cool. Like, I mean, like, there is a part of me that wants to play games in Nakatomi Plaza just like that. Or I don't know about playing as First Blood Rambo. Was that First Blood Rambo or was that Second Blood Rambo? Wasn't that Rambo from the second movie, not the first? Whatever. If you've actually seen the movies, that Rambo
Isn't it First Blood 2? No, what is the second movie called? It's not called Second Blood.
I thought the first was just First Blood, like Rambo First Blood, right?
Rambo,
and then the second one's Rambo 2.
Blood,
Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
No.
But he definitely does not have that outfit in the first.
The shirtless
that's Rambo. The shirtless Rambo with the bow, that's part 2.
I mean, that's part 2.
That's why it's so freaking confusing.
Yeah, it's Rambo First Blood Part 2. So at that point, they were calling the Rambo series was called Rambo First Blood, and they just gave it Part 2.
Yes, because it was the 80s. That's what they did.
That's a terrible name.
Let's just call it Part 2. Gremlins 2, Part 2.
Yes. First Blood Part 2.
It also makes sense for Hot Shots Part 2, making fun of it. Exactly right. Yeah.
Yeah, no, Part 2. Part 2 is totally good. So this would be Bravo.
Okay, touche.
One X
touche,
yes, absolutely. Oh my god. So speaking of sequels and pulling our nostalgia buttons constantly, are you gonna pick up Mass Effect?
I already picked it up. I haven't had the 6-hour block to play the first kickoff. I'm echoing, by the way, Joe.
You're echoing? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I'm echoing.
Boom. How about that? Now? Yes? Remove?
Let's see. Much better? Maybe? I don't know.
Better, worse? Okay. There we go. Yeah.
Yeah, folks are really excited about it. It looks great. I know I have friends that are playing it. I need the block. I can't just... I don't want to just log in and spend an hour creating the character and then not immediately play afterwards.
Again, as someone that played it, I did not play any of them. I know enough of them. Again, I'm like you with Shrek. I know all about them without ever playing them. And and the only reason because I couldn't get past part 1, and I'm very picky about jumping into part 2 and playing a sequel to a game that I didn't play part 1 of. So I kept trying to play part 1, but the action of part 1, I heard they fixed that. So part 1, the action is better. Like the
I mean, it's improved.
It's improved.
But it's still.
I'm okay with turn-based.
First generation. It's not turn-based.
Oh yeah, I know what I mean. You know what I mean. Like
it's that wheel-based power system.
Wheel-based power system.
It's the same as that, as I understand it. It just made it smoother. I haven't played it. I'm embarrassed to say it's on my hard drive. I downloaded it. I paid the money for it, which I don't usually do.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, you normally don't. Not only do you normally not buy any games anymore, since
I don't rebuy games.
You don't rebuy games, but
I'm excited.
This game's just way too sweet.
It's too good.
To play. Yeah. It's too good. Yeah. So that's also an informative thing for the fans to know that Pedro doesn't usually buy games again. He doesn't really replay games. But
it's very rare. I'll go back and do the 100% achievements, but I I won't replay game
but
that
this
often.
has all new achievements, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Yes. So he's like,
cha-ching, cha-ching,
cha-ching, cha-ching, getting those wonderful points.
Although it's one of the few games I never 100%ed because they had like a hardcore difficulty that I just didn't want to bother with. I know my buddy, maybe Go Ash or not Go, I think he 100%ed it across all 3 games. Or came close. I know, yeah. That's dedication, but it's a great game.
And that was one of those early games, right? So Mass Effect 2 and 3, they added more achievement points with the DLC. So it was 9,000.
So it was like 9,000 points.
Yeah, it was like a massive amount of points afterwards when they released like the next DLC mission and whatnot. And then a lot of those, if I remember correctly, a lot of those achievements were online locked. Like the only way to get them is if you play online. Like, there was no way to get 100 if you didn't play any like co-op.
They had some multiplayer stuff for Mass Effect 3, but most of them were just story ones or playing it in hardcore mode, do the missions.
There he goes. Yeah, it's just 2 and 3. I
there
can get all the Chivos for the Pinnacle Station DLC on the first. Oh, there you go. So it looks great.
That's still great. I mean, that's still an amazing achievement on its own. Yeah.
Yeah, I wanna sit down and put same thing. I want to put some hours into it.
I gotta but like maybe tomorrow I'll give it a whirl. Since I'll be homesick.
That said, re-release, a game that never left. At this
point, did they just use the same copy like every year? They're like, hey,
what's interesting
find and replace Xbox with Xbox
like,
Series S.
GTA 5 arrives. It's still on there. If I've got a Series X and a PlayStation 5,
my brother's been playing it for the past 4 months on his Xbox. Oh my god,
Series. It's gonna look better. It's gonna get like new stuff. Like, what are you doing? You're not adding a new. Like, I don't understand.
But so? I have a memory of you not buying GTA 5.
I did not buy
for the 360 because you were waiting for it on the one.
Yeah,
right? And
so
now
I didn't buy it on 360, and then I ended up buying it on the PS4.
That's it.
But it was also one of those games that I couldn't get through because again, they make me do awful things on the game. It's just in general, it's not as fun as like the comedy that.
Spoilers! You got to do torture scene, and it's not fun.
Yeah, not fun. But anywho, it's also one of those games that never stopped being backwards compatible, right? Like they released the original one on 360, and the 360 version could be played on the one from day one. Then they re-released it. You couldn't play PlayStation 3 games on the 4, so they released the 4 version, which was enhanced. But the next gen versions, which was the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4 version, those were like the definitive ones because those the game came out at the tail end of the previous gen, and the games felt bloated for those systems. Like they didn't run very well. So the definitive version became the PS4. It did. And so here we are now, another generation, but the games still play on the new. Like it's so silly.
It's still the same effing game. Imagine. I mean, like it's what? How old is it? 7 years old.
I mean, this is Rockstar Skyrim, right? Like it's
not because it also is like gangster culture and weird jokes about yoga. Like the jokes are pretty old. Minesweeper arrives on Windows 9. Thanks, Doubleday. You really dropped.
I mean, it was a port from 3.1, so I mean, like honestly, it's not as good. I think the original 3.1 version was better.
Not since Minesweeper got ported over to Windows Vista have we seen this game. No, we need Minesweeper on the Switch.
Man, wonderful pull-in, sir. If you guys did not see this story, I thank you for reminding me about this one.
Everyone's got jokes today. This is great.
If you guys didn't see this, so the Nintendo Switch. So Nintendo Switch released there's an I guess you could call it a game, but it's not. They released a calculator app. It's $10.
That's not a game, but I've scored so many points.
Oh, so many points. 9999999.
Yeah, no, I am a little sick, a little under the weather, but COVID free, thankfully. So
COVID free. So look at these screenshots.
It's just the same picture with different numbers.
With a bigger number, baby.
Oh, dude, there's some legit reviews on it. It's got the scientific calculator.
Yeah. I mean,
wait, why would you buy this?
I don't know. So in case you're carrying your Switch and you're like, I want to use it as I guess if you're a student or whatever.
I forgot my phone and I don't know how to do math.
I'm like, is this a world where calculate? You know what? the developers of this are
so
brilliant,
you can take your
honestly.
Switch to class.
Who's the
teacher, it's not just Animal
Sabtech.
Crossing.
Let's take a look who Sabtech is. Company profile. What else have they released here? What have they released here? Games.
You gotta hit the games button. Yeah, there you go.
Roblox? No, that's not even Roblox. Some of the cover on it, dog. It looks like they're just to release a bunch of like weird, like no cover game bomb. These must be like the penny games. These are like app shovelware.
Seriously, these are just descriptor words. They're not even. We got a game with fight.
What is this? Turn your Switch into a mini guitar. Oh, so it looks like that's what they do. They do games that like no screenshots. This is what a weird piano.
Wait. What's Dogfight? Is that a shooter game?
Simulation.
Oh,
Take to the skies with F-22, F-18. No, wrong Dogfight.
I was like, what's happening there?
That would be the Michael Vick game.
There you go. Double Day bringing it back to the very
Wars
to
on
the
early
early
TI-83? No, TI-86, I guess is what we could play.
Fantastic game on our scientific calculators.
Yeah.
These are all code names. That's just absolute.
That's glorious. That's glorious. That's totally. They released the calculator. Like, who is the calculator? We know. We
now have our target comrade. Yeah.
God.
TI-83 was like...
ready to comply. No, I mean, yeah, like it's so weird. But I guess also, it's genius, right? They released a game that isn't a game onto it. It made media news, which I mean, they must have made their money back 1 millionfold, right? Like how hard?
It looks like they just copied the Apple calculator.
Yeah, it's the same buttons, but also the Apple one is a play on a very famous style calculator, like it's an HP calculator.
Oh, okay, all right. As long
so
as
it's like a
how
very famous watch like face is very famous, like it's the Swatch style with the very Anywho,
it's like how the iconic. Borderlands stole Mad Max and Mad Max stole Borderlands, right? It just comes around.
Right. It comes around. Yeah. So standard textures built in. Yeah, it's just I don't know. It's weird, but it's $10, and I'm sure that people have bought it, even if it's.
I don't think I've spent $10 on a physical calculator in like 30 years.
I don't know, man. It's weird. It's so
good for
weird.
them. I can't wait to own a digital calculator on my Switch for $10.
Oh God! What else is new? What are you playing right now? We're getting...
Gosh, what am I playing? My daughter's been pushing hard for me to play Minecraft, so I'm playing a lot of Minecraft. And then I've been playing Empire Sin. I got back into that because they just dropped a patch, so I wanted to play that for a little bit more. So nothing really exciting, if I'm honest with you. Nothing exciting. I miss multiplayer with folks. No one's ever coming on to play multiplayer games if there's nothing out there.
Yeah, what am I playing right now?
That's the thing. What are we playing?
I'm playing Ori.
Nintendo Land with my kid earlier tonight. That's a good one.
Oh man, Nintendo Land on the Wii U is such a again, it's one of those games that like will live on that system because they can't be played on anything else because it's almost like a tech demo for the Wii U. Mm-hmm. There's so many good games on there. Like
we played it at your place for a while.
Yeah,
right?
We used to play the Mario Chase and the Luigi's Mansion one where you got the ghost and the flashlight running around.
That was such a good game.
Such a good game. Again,
I don't understand why we don't get more games like that.
Delta, he does play. I say we in the colloquial like royalty way because I don't.
See, that'd be cool. BioWare hinted that multiplayer is not outside the realm of possibility. Yeah, that'd be cool. I'd come back and play some refreshed Mass Effect 3 multiplayer.
Double Day was saying Squadrons and
Squadrons. We played it on Sundays, but Squadrons matchmaking is kind of cajoled, right? Because we show up to play if we have 4 players. It takes forever to get that 5th single with us because it also trying to rank us together and things like that. So it's just not fun to play. Yeah, people still wake up for Squadrons. Right. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, not Joe, but other people.
Not me, man. Sundays, I'm just not a morning person, especially not on Sundays. I have to be a morning person all week. So on Saturday and Sunday, I cherish
yeah, I mean, like, I know.
I'm
a morning person every day.
I'm not crying about it. I'm just saying, in general, it's just my jam. Right.
That's what. Mario Chase.
Mario Chase. Luigi's mentioned the Metroid. The Metroid one is really good. It's the only one you have to plug in the nunchuck for some of it. But all in all, it's still great. Like those are great.
That's what Joe does, and then he goes to sleep at like 4:00 in the morning, and he winds up being unable to wake up on Sunday.
Right. So Saturday night, I'm up at like 4 a.m. like churning away random stuff and projects and games and whatever.
That's how he gets content for the show, and I'm asleep, and then he comes in, and then Tuesday we've got content, and I'm all like, "What are we talking about? What's going on?"
What else were we going to talk about?
We were talking about Dungeons and Dragons. I think there was like a little retcon on.
Yeah,
I don't know if folks want to talk about Dungeons and Dragons.
Well, yeah, we always want to
It's
talk
a
about
contentious topic, right? Just because I like to touch on it every so often. People, just the concept of retcons cracks me up, right? Like, all they're doing is taking the problematic race that was Esmeralda de Vinier. I think it was like the Viscelier, they're called.
Yeah. I
mean, back then they basically just said, "Oh, that's a culture. We're just going to bring it into D&D as a fantasy race." That's what they did, right? And they just made it so that it was like the Drow or the Elves. Vistani, that's it.
The Vistani, yeah.
Yeah,
An
so
allegory for the Roma people, which is
I mean, allegory really isn't the right word. They really just said these are the Roma people. We just made them fantasy, right? Because in some people's minds, Roma they're always fantasy, right? There's all sorts of offensive tropes related to the Roma,
right. Like no different.
We could not have.
Yeah,
so that's what they did.
Like,
they said, "Well, imagine a world
think
we
of
have
like anyone that's all Asian people have to know kung fu. They all have to be mystical. They all have like
exactly.
It's
That's
those
exactly
same
right.
like, stereotypes and in general.
And they just perpetuate forever in our media and our stories, and this is one of the ways it was perpetuated. So they just took it out. So now there's this big announcement and all sorts of reactions to retconning. Honestly, a very small piece of the D&D world, right? Ravenloft, although everyone loves the gothic part of it, it's not even that big a piece of the regular Forgotten Realms, right? So
Wizards.
And no, Dan, we did not end up streaming our game last week, and
we did not.
We had a member who was uncomfortable with streaming, and so we respected it and didn't do it. Right? Not everyone was down to do it publicly. And Go Astronaut Go is in our game, so we have.
We might have to we've talked about it offset, and in general we've talked about it where we might have to maybe do a run, maybe a pick a night or instead of doing an episode on a Tuesday, maybe hop on and do a quick session. Me and bring on
do some one shots and bring on some other idiots to play and rock it out that way.
And then
folks who are willing to stream again. You got to respect everyone's comfort levels.
So a lot of individuals that we.
I will say it was a blast of a session though.
It was a good session. Fun. I mean, we can. I kind of feel bad that I couldn't share that with anybody, but at the same time, it was a good time all around, and I'm glad everyone felt comfortable. Mm-hmm. Right, so that was important for sure. But we are playing through. What's the name of the campaign right now?
Tomb of Annihilation.
The Tomb of Annihilation. That's right. So
and Go Astronaut Go's Dragonborn Paladin died to wasp stings. So that's where he's a huge dude. Got stung to death by bugs. Yeah,
it's good. I love the theater of the mind aspect of D&D. I mean, obviously, if we streamed, we're nowhere near equipped to do it in the way that
the way I would love to do it with miniatures and
miniatures and all that kind of stuff. No, Dan, trust me. If we get one going, I will totally make sure to blast it out there. And now that I know who would be okay, what I'm going to do is we're just going to have to roll a night, pick a night and do a single shot campaign or maybe like a two-parter and just kind of run with it that way.
And run with it. Yeah. Just use
I mean, I have enough of them.
Doubleday is the Shrek of our channel.
Dude, he's totally Shrek.
he's totally It's a troll that comes out of the swamp to say swampy things and then disappears.
Totally. Here's a live footage of Doubleday right here.
Do we have live footage of Yep, that's Doubleday, everybody, right there. Spewing nonsense at us. We say it with love, sir.
We say it with love. No, so yeah, again, I would really like to run a session for sure. What else? I think that's pretty much it. It's the story-wise, I don't think there's anything we missed. Oh, I did. I talked to you about it yesterday. I went to the movie theater for the first time.
Oh, that's right. Do you have the pictures? You got to share these pictures.
Yeah, let me pull those up real quick, and I will.
So Joe, as everyone knows, Texas is they're open for business. They shut the shit out of COVID, and COVID is gone in Texas.
The world is
so
there was never COVID. COVID is a. It was a farcity, right? Like it was made up by the.
I'll sue you if you wear a mask. Yeah, see, that's
right. I mean, that's what happened. I think today our governor, wonderful governor of Texas, announced that no one is allowed to put any mandates. Everyone has to have. You can't force anyone to wear masks. No business or schools or anything like that can actually say you must wear a mask to come in.
What about doctors and hospitals?
Apparently not. I'm not sure.
I'm just gonna.
Go Texas.
I'm gonna throw out one example of someone who has to wear a mask.
Pew, 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 pew. Yeah, no, it's interesting. I don't even know how to like describe the level of like stupidity sometimes that we have in our state. I love our state,
but that means movie theaters are open. I think movie theaters are open up here. They're just like weird. They're hard to get tickets. They actually sell out pretty fast up here.
Really, that's interesting because
they're much smaller than in Texas, Joe. They're tiny.
I guess so. Well, no, I've seen the one at Destiny. You guys it's a big.
No, nobody goes to Destiny Mall. That's going out of business. It's empty. They've got too many loans. They are saddled with too much debt. Yeah, prediction they're going out of business.
Really, this is news to me. I'm gonna pull up some pictures. But
the stars and night of big right.
So just as a
Bill and Ted 3. Dan went to movie theater in August.
Wow, really? Wow, in August. Wow.
Bold move, Dan.
Bold move, Cot. No, honestly, like I hadn't been in the movie theater. The last movie I saw with the family was Sonic, for my kiddo's birthday. Double Day.
Joe loves the movies. Joe loves the experience of the movies.
Deep in the heart of Texas. No, look, I agree with you. Double Day. I agree with you. I enjoy my home theater. I enjoy my OLED and my big screen and my home theater and all that kind of stuff. And I've talked about it on the show how, going to like a kids movie cost me like over $120 to pay for tickets and popcorn and the lunch and everything that follows. It's like it's an outing. It is a physical it's like
family vacation day. Costs so much money,
right? Yeah. Like it's a lot of money, and I'm okay with that. But being able to just like download the newest, kid movie and just sit down and pop some microwave popcorn and settle in on the couch is also very, very wholesome. There's a very like family feeling of sitting on the couch and watching.
Yeah, it's like gathering around the fire and.
Yeah, it's very, very nice to get a first run movie that way. So
I love it. That's why we do our Friday movie nights. It's always a fun thing for us all to get together.
But that in mind, while I was at the movie theater, so first off, just to kind of.
This is the movie he picked, by the way.
Oh yeah, so the last movie I saw was Sonic the Hedgehog, and then the last movie theater I went to was actually in Boston. When we went to PAX last year, there was a Phantom event, right? Like they did like a weekend run or like a 2-day run of the My Hero Academia movie, the anime. And so you can only watch it on these 2 days. And one of the days it was the first day, it was Thursday of PAX. So when I landed, I went and got dinner, and I bought a ticket to the movie theater and went out to watch a movie by myself. But you could feel like it was like that the COVID was in the air, right? Like you could feel like the onset of like what was happening. You could hear the news, the kind of like all the zombie.
It's like the
movies.
First 20 minutes of an outbreak movie with a zombie.
Yeah, right. Like you hear the zombies running in the background. You're like, what was that? What's going on? That's what it felt like. So knowing that was my last movie, it was kind of like weird. Right. And so I started watching an anime this past week. I watched a new anime in a while, and I watched one called Demon Slayer, and a very popular one. I'm behind, right? Like everyone's already seen this and whatever. So I binged like the first season, like 22 episodes or whatever of it, and it was fantastic. And what was nice about it is that this about a month ago they released the movie to the masses. And the way that this particular movie the way that this particular movie
no spoilers,
was set
people were asking. Yeah.
Was that what was fun is if you're familiar with anime movies in general, and the anime trope of like OVAs, as they're called in Japan, they're called an OVA. Any type of movie, a movie of a Japanese anime, they come out. The movie never really takes place within the continuity of the show. Like it's always like this one-off shoot. Things will happen, battles will happen. You create a plot that begins and ends in the movie. Right?
Oh, all right, that makes sense.
It's a way to bring the character into this like fantasy like battle.
It's not like Pokemon doesn't make any sense. Any of their movies,
right? None of their movies make any sense. It's not part of the actual series, but this movie actually did. What they did is they took an arc of the manga, and instead of doing a full season of the animation, they took that one story arc. And they made a movie about it. So the movie picks up right at the end of season 1, which is really fun because it's like you're going to see an extended episode.
That's awesome.
That was great. And my wife didn't watch it with me, so I told the wife, I was like, hey, you mind if I go to the movie? She's like, yeah, sure, go for it. So I had like a solo weird weeb date. It was weird because I went out and across the street across the street, total weeb date. It was a total weeb date. It was great. I went across the street from my movie theater. There's a Japanese grocery store, Mitsuwa, and there's a food court. So I went in there and I grabbed some ramen for dinner. And they've got a Japanese bookstore, and they have
made sure you had your bubble tea ready to go.
No bubble tea this time around, but because I needed to save room for my giant tub of popcorn and my giant large Coke. So it's reserved for my OnlyFans, sir. Only my OnlyFans. There was no one in the theater, so I definitely had to film something. Had to put some content out.
Dude, I don't know if he's gonna be, but he should put his pictures up because it was an empty theater.
Yeah, so I'm doing that right now. So that said, so I went. So I'm gonna set the. I went to the market and had dinner, right? And so this was the food court, right? And this place is usually a pretty hopping place. And window, there we go, share.
There we go.
This is the animation. This is the ramen shop, right? So you walk up and you order, and there was like no one there.
This is the food court, right? So that's one ramen shop. Yeah,
so
yeah.
It shows it's already empty, like it's a very post-apocalyptic feeling. Mm-hmm. And then I want to. So there's the bookstore.
He's got to minimize it because he's got dirty pictures.
Well, I'm going to be sure I pulled the right picture up, right?
Right.
And then the anime shop, like there was a bookstore in the food court as well, and they had like characters up for the standees for the movie. And I was like, this is weird. It's like this should belong in the movie theater, but I guess they knew the crowd that would come in.
Right.
To go see it. So they had that up, and see they had a little section up for the anime.
Oh my god, you took pictures of all this.
But so
he documented his entire
here we go.
date.
So I walk in. I walk into the movie theater, and here again, empty parking lot. You can see there's no one there. And again, I worked at the movie theater. I know that Monday nights can be quiet, but this was eerie.
That looks like Chernobyl, man. That like the crazy like Art Deco, like weird and like design of this theater. Yeah, it looks out of place. Where's the people? That's exactly right.
I walked in and there was like no one there except like the ticket guy. But the ticket guy's behind the plastic, and so all he does is like scan my phone. And of course, that's also one thing that with masks, and then a piece of plexi in front of it, and then you have it. So everyone's mumbling, and I'm like, what? So I feel like the old man pressing my ear against like plexiglass to hear anything. It's totally nuts. So then I walk in, not a single person in the theater.
They already had the popcorn and soda there for him, by the way. It was already set up. They're like, "Oh, Joe, your seat's ready for you."
Totally empty. It was absolutely bizarre. And then of course I turn and look at my large cup, right? Sitting there with my empty. It just I had to take a picture of it because it felt like alternate timeline. It was like Top Gun, Tom Cruise, Maverick, June 2020. That didn't happen. The cup is here. It exists. Like it's a weird timeline. It's like here I am in a movie theater where no one's. It's almost like the world stood still, and I walked into a movie theater to watch a movie, and I'm picking up,
You went through a different portal, dude. That's
dude. It's like totally. It just felt weird. It was
that seriously is a collector's cup. Who is the collector of this garbage?
Tons of people. Absolutely one of the weirdest experiences I've had in a long time. I had a blast though. I was the only one in the theater. You can tell the projectionist probably just turns up everything a little louder. So even before the movie started, I could hear the movie next door like blaring way louder than normal. And I was like, this is cool. Like, so I enjoyed this movie.
Well, does he turn it louder so that he can hear? Or why would he turn it louder? Because the sound.
Just to give an experience to whoever would go with, right? Like the.
I gotcha.
To kind of give you that like
So was the movie good? Was it?
It was fantastic. It was a fantastic movie, and from what I read, it's like one of the highest grossing anime movies to date. In theaters. More studios are realizing that hey, there's a lot of anime fans out there now, and they're willing to pay money to see these movies.
There's always been a lot of anime fans. It's weird.
Yeah, it's just Hollywood doesn't realize it, right? So
they're gonna unroll the rock to let them all out.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a really good joke.
What?
Because of the spelling changes, but he just did another spelling change. Yes, that's good.
Yeah, absolutely.
The Bernstein Bears, the nerds have emerged.
Yeah, totally. It was definitely a strange experience, and I had a blast. But it was before the movie, right? So this is to Doubleday's argument where there was a ton of trailers. a ton of trailers from movies that they had been delayed, and they've kind of re-released these new trailers. They had a trailer for Cruella, which comes out on May 28th. And again, this is a weird movie because I don't know what I'm supposed to feel for this movie. Somehow or another, I'm supposed to like this villain who has her own movie, which is Emma Stone, which is fantastic. But she's also a villain whose entire villain arc is about wanting to murder puppies and turn them into a coat. So I'm supposed to like now feel good for this person.
Hashtag squad goals.
Yeah, apparently, right? Yeah. So they had that. They did have A Quiet Place 2 had a trailer, and they had a whole like mini documentary talk with John Krasinski, talking about how it wasn't even supposed to happen. But then like between every other trailer was like this whole like, hey, welcome back, or hey, movies are better experienced at the theater. And then that Marvel trailer, that big long Marvel trailer, like with the Stan Lee talking about like how, that guy's your brother, that guy's your sister. Yeah, and I'm just like, oh my God. In that moment, and like they show that scene of like Endgame where Captain America is like, Avengers Assemble and everyone's cheering. It's like supposed to be like, it's a hype roll but I'm already at the movies. Like, who are you hyping this for? I already paid for my ticket. 35 minutes later of trailers.
That's awesome. Started. That's amazing.
7:30, from 7:30 to 8:05. 35 minutes of trailers.
You were like, did they forget to put the movie on?
I was like, wait, did I walk into the trailer room, or what is going on here?
So yeah, Dan, funny story. My wife and I stopped watching Man in High Castle because we found ourselves rooting for the Nazi. We were like, wait a second.
No,
we don't want to participate in this. So we turned it off and stopped watching.
On this show, Pedro and I are of like mind on this. It's one of the things that we can agree with out of every the things that we kind of clash on, which is nice. It's always great to clash about things. But this one in general, Star Wars, I don't like playing as the Empire. Nope. I am not an Empire fan. I don't like people like. It's weird when people are like, "Oh, Stormtrooper." I mean, I get the the iconography of it is like, "Oh, you like Star Wars as a franchise," but the people that are like rep like the Empire stuff and like put like the Empire logos on their car. I mean, I get it that it's for a fictitious.
It's too edgy. It's too edgy.
It's also like you do realize they are space Nazis, right? Like that is.
That is job. That is their mold with which they were brought forward.
Yeah,
right?
Like we need to stop trying to deny it. George Lucas wrote it as, I mean, for God's sake, he put everyone with like English accents and like put them in like regalia. He put them in very like.
He was referencing World War II movies, but yes. I agree with you. Yes,
it's very.
Yes, they were wearing Hugo Boss outfits. Absolutely, yeah. And the same thing. Yeah, Cobra Kai. It's the same thing. It's too now. You can get away with it. You can get away with it in the 90s or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I get what you're saying. It's too real now. Like, but
yeah, wearing a Punisher shirt in the 90s is very different than wearing a Punisher shirt today, right? You're making a very different statement when you're wearing that Punisher shirt.
You gotta wear a Punisher shirt with a blue.
Oh, dude, don't say it. Don't say it. I collected a lot of Punisher things, but yeah, I'm siding with the Nazis. The whole Hail Hydra thing. Everyone wants to be the bad guy. It's just boring as hell.
They're just an analogy.
They're more Nazis.
They're more
Nazis. And yes, they dress better. I get it. The Nazis start to get snappy outfits, but still. Ooh, all right. On that note, let's go to. Let's call it a show, everybody.
Oh man, no. That said, what's happening in that side of the world is awful.
It's terrible.
It's terrible. It doesn't matter who you like. What matters is human life has been lost, and so let's. If you're going to give a donation, please give a donation for the cause. There's a lot of lives being lost on that side of the world. So, like, in general, there's been a lot of weird media backlash on this kind of stuff. I had a long, 30-minute conversation with my wife, who's a religious scholar on this kind of stuff, and we had to talk about, how it's very hard for the U.S. to kind of, distance themselves from certain parts of it all because of their allies. And
it's the Holy Land, baby.
It's the Holy Land, but at the same time, it's just predestined. It's just a weird entire concept, and it's hard to pick sides. It's not as clear, cut, dry as we can talk about, but I will say that people dying shouldn't happen. That's just the simple fact. And so by someone saying they support one country because they've lost more lives, I think that's totally okay. And there are a lot of people from Israel that support Palestine. So, I mean, it's okay.
We'll just figure it out.
It's just read up on it. Don't side. Don't Don't just sign anything or another. Just
don't follow your
educated.
Facebook uncle for information. Everyone, please.
It's a tough subject.
It's a tough subject, complicated by many years
by millennia of ancient history that was all written by people in power. So let's, that's a tough subject to cross for sure.
But on this show, you can always be assured that Cautious is going to say, "Don't trust the people in power."
Don't trust the people.
That's what it comes down to, right?
Thank you, everyone.
Close it out.
Close it out. And again, what is killing us is capitalism.
Always.
Always.
It's killing me.
We will always have that for sure. Again,
thanks for the stream rolls. Thanks for jumping on, everybody. It's a great chat. I'm a little low key because I'm sick, so I appreciate everyone sticking around.
You know where the button is for sure. You know where the button
subscribe,
is.
share.
Love your neighbor. Love your neighbor.
Friendships.
Friendship all around. And make sure don't put a. It's getting chilly out there. So.
We need a summer Bernie. Find the summer Bernie.
And somebody needs to Photoshop in the summer Bernie for sure. Summer Bernie. We'll find a summer Bernie for sure.
All
right, everyone. Take care. Another episode in the can. Have a good one.
Be kind.